Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And this time around, I'm doing a review for a movie that's currently in theaters. And that movie would be the 2024 film The Damned, directed and co written by Thodor Palsson. So, this movie is officially the first horror film that I'm seeing in theaters in 2025. And honestly, I was very glad that this movie was brought up to me by one of my very good friends as we went to go see it together. He may not have even known that this movie was coming out at all if it weren't for the fact that he notified me. So here's the concept for The Damned. We have everything taking place at a small fishing outpost in an area which I believe is in Scandinavia, or at least near that area, the Arctic in general. But what happens is we have a group of fishermen, along with the people that are running this outpost, that are unfortunately getting to the very last of their food. And it's midwinter, so it's just going to get worse from here. And the potential is they may not have any more food for the rest of the time. So the very next day, the fishermen plan on going out and hopefully getting some actual food. Now, right before they do so, they notice that there's a ship of foreigners not far from where they're located that has apparently crashed against some rocks and is beginning to sink. Now, this group of people deals with a huge moral dilemma. Do they go out and actually try and help these people that are now sinking, or do they leave them to the elements? Only because if they do bring them in, now it's even higher possibility that there won't be enough food for them to all survive. They, of course, make the choice that they come first. But will these choices end up haunting them? Literally. Because now there's a potential of these people that were left to their own and didn't make it might be coming back as something known as a Dragar, which in Scandinavian traditions is kind of a mixture of a ghost slash zombie. So now are all of these people that are remaining in this little village being haunted, or maybe some of them are just going crazy. Who knows? But you'll have to watch to find out. I really enjoyed this movie. It has an amazingly good atmosphere. You just feel cold watching the movie. It's got some great cinematic and actual cinematography that's done throughout the film. The acting is also really, really good. Now, speaking of the actors, and I don't really have an issue with this, it just does kind of drive me crazy a little bit sometimes when they do this. It does seem like all of the characters are actually Scandinavian, but every actor in the movie has a British or UK accent. So, and I know that they do that with any kind of foreign film sometimes, but I really wish, especially because I am Scandinavian myself, that the characters had the correct accents. And speaking of the actors, one that you'll probably recognize is Roy McCann. He played the Hound on Game of Thrones. Now, there is a lot to praise when it comes to this movie, but here's some of the things that I wasn't a fan of. Number one, there definitely were some moments that were very slow with not much happening. Number two, I didn't exactly like the ending. I'm not going to ruin anything for anyone, but to me, it just wasn't the ending that they should have gone with, at least in my opinion. So for me on my scale, this was very close to being a 4 out of 5, but I think it's going to be a 3 out of 5. So when it comes to The Damned, if you get a chance, definitely go and see this in theaters. I think it's going to have a limited release, but because of the atmosphere, it really is something great to see on the big screen. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. And if there's ever any other movies that you'd like me to do a review for, feel free to mention them in the comments.